I always believed loyalty was something that grew stronger with time. After 24 years of marriage, you stop worrying about the little insecurities that haunt young couples. You think the bond is solid, tested through years of bills, arguments, family dinners, and quiet nights side by side. That's what I thought, until one Friday night tore my world apart. It started with subtle changes in her routine. Laura, my wife, began spending more time with friends from work. She'd laugh at texts and quickly put her phone face down on the table whenever I walked into the room. But I convinced myself it was nothing. She had stood by me through job losses, illnesses, and the struggles of raising 2 kids. Why would she betray me now? That Friday evening, she dressed differently. Not the comfortable jeans and sweater she usually wore on weekends. She put on a navy dress, heels she hadn't worn in years, and perfume I hadn't smelled on her since our 10th anniversary. I watched her at the doorway, my chest tightening. "Going somewhere?" I asked. She smiled faintly, almost guilty. "Just out with the girls. Don't wait up. I might be late." Something in her tone made my stomach turn. She wasn't lying well. After nearly a quarter of a century together, I could read her better than she realized. When she left, I sat in silence, replaying her words, her dress, the way she avoided my eyes. And then a message buzzed on our shared laptop. A calendar reminder, synced from her phone. The title stopped me cold. Dinner with Mark, 7:30 p.m., the Rosewood. Mark. I knew the name. He was her new colleague at the firm. A younger man she had mentioned casually, always with a little too much light in her eyes. I stared at the screen, my heart pounding, my hands trembling. For years, I had given her my trust, my love, my loyalty. And she had traded it for a Friday night date. I didn't confront her immediately. I didn't rush to the restaurant or create a scene. No, I decided right then how this story would end. Not with screaming, not with begging, not with broken plates or angry accusations. It would end with clarity, finality, and the silence of my decision. I went to my study, pulled out the folder that held our legal documents, and sat down at my desk. I had spoken with a lawyer months ago, after first noticing her late nights and distant behavior. Something in me had sensed this storm long before it arrived. The papers were ready. All I had to do was sign. With every stroke of the pen, I felt years of love, pain, sacrifice, and devotion reduced to nothing more than ink on paper. By the time the clock struck midnight, the papers were sealed in an envelope with her name on it. At 1 a.m., I heard the door open. Her heels clicked softly on the hardwood floor. She tried to move quietly, but guilt makes noise in ways people don't realize. I was sitting in the living room, waiting. She froze when she saw me. "You're still up?" she asked, her voice unsteady. "Yeah," I said calmly. "Did you enjoy your girls' night?" Her face betrayed her before her words did. The flush in her cheeks, the hesitation in her answer. "It was nice. We had fun." I didn't argue. I didn't accuse. Instead, I slid the envelope across the coffee table toward her. "This is for you." She frowned, picking it up, her hands shaking slightly as she opened it. When she saw the word divorce across the top, her eyes widened. She looked at me, her mouth opening as if to explain, to deny, to plead. I didn't let her. "Laura, after 24 years, I thought I knew you. I thought what we built meant something. But tonight, you made your choice. And this is mine." Her lips trembled. "It's not what you think." Don't," I interrupted, my voice sharper now. "Don't insult me with lies. I saw your calendar. I know who you were with. And honestly, it doesn't matter anymore. Whatever we had, whatever we fought for, you ended it the moment you walked out in that dress tonight." Tears filled her eyes, but I felt no sympathy. For years, I had been the man who forgave, who overlooked, who gave second chances. But something about her betrayal cut deeper than anything else we had endured together. "I never wanted to hurt you," she whispered. "Then you shouldn't have gone," I replied coldly. "It's that simple." She sank into the chair opposite me, clutching the papers as though they might burn her fingers. For a long moment, neither of us spoke. The silence was heavier than any argument we could have had. Finally, I stood. "I'll give you time to read them. My lawyer will be in touch." As I walked upstairs to our bedroom, soon to be only mine, I felt the weight of grief pressing down, but also a strange sense of freedom. 24 years had ended in one night, but it was better than living in a marriage built on lies. The next morning, when the sun poured into the house, she was still sitting in that chair, the papers unopened on the table. I didn't need to look at her to know she regretted what she had done. But regret doesn't rebuild trust. It doesn't erase betrayal. I packed a bag, called my lawyer, and left. There was no fight, no dramatic goodbye. Just the quiet acceptance that love, once broken by deceit, rarely recovers. Some people think betrayal destroys you. But for me, it clarified everything. It showed me that loyalty, once violated, has no repair. And so I walked away, leaving behind the woman who chose a Friday night date over 24 years of marriage. The papers said it all. And I never looked back.